guys, this is Rich, and we're going to go over the installation on the Tavor with the Wolverine Airsoft HYDRA system. So what we have here is our HYDRA with the Tavor nozzle installed. This video is not going to be a fast and look how cool and easy this is video. This is going to be as detailed as I can make it about exactly what needs to happen to get these done. Installations like this, while we've tried to make it as easy as possible, do require a decently high level of technical skill. If you are not comfortable doing things in your gearbox and making modifications to your gearbox, we highly suggest that you find a good tech to do the installation for you. You can find lots of good techs by looking at our Find a Dealer page on our website, wolverineairsoft.com. So let's dive into this and see what it takes to get the Tavor up and going. The first thing we've done is we have soldered the leads that come with the universal wiring kit onto our selector switch. You see, we've used these two pins. This means that the switch is wired in normally closed position, which means that the gun will fire in select fire when the switch is not being activated. To get it to fire in semi, the switch needs to be activated. If you wanted to wire it the other way, you would wire it. You would keep the wire in the middle and swap this wire over to the other pin. So, in order to have this fire the way we want, that means that it needs to be installed in the gun such that when the select fire is in semi, the switch is engaged. So you can see what we're going to use is the cam follower portion of the cutoff lever to activate the switch. Now what I do in positioning these switches is I take the switch, just like I'm doing now, and I've already done this here so you can see, and I take a little razor blade and I just mark the two sides of the switch so I can see where it is. Now, what you're going to need to do is to drill a hole using the drill bit, which we include with the kit. Here's our mark right here of the two sides. Hole location right there. Alright, so the easiest way to do this is if you have a punch or something like that to get it started. Just the drill doesn't wander. But what you'll find is that it's not extremely critical to position, because since we use a switch that only has one screw position, we can kind of rotate the switch once it's in there to get it to engage correctly. So let's go ahead and install the switch. What we're going to do is take the included screw, start it in the switch. It's a tight fit. You're going to need a T6 Torx driver. Go ahead and screw it in. It's snug, but we'll go in. Once it's just extending past the back side of the switch, go ahead and get it started in the hole you drilled. Don't worry about exactly where the switch is rotated to right at the moment. Screw it down until it's snug, but the switch can still rotate. So now what we're going to do is we're simply going to rotate the switch till it's in a position where the switch is activated by the lever. And we're going to tighten it down a little more. Don't over tighten it or you might crush the switch, but snug enough that it's not moving around. Now you can see when the selector switch is activated, or when the cutoff lever moves, it no longer activates the switch, so it'll fire and select fire. So that's what we want. Right there is perfect. The next thing we've done is we have wired the leads to the existing switch that's in the gun for the trigger. It doesn't matter which lead goes on which side. The same is true of the selector switch. It doesn't matter which tab you solder to. But you need to solder into that switch. Now we're going to take the trolley mechanism and put it in place. Always be careful with these little springs so you don't lose them. The other thing you're going to notice is we've taken the actual trigger lever off of this side of the gearbox. When you take the gearbox apart, it stays with the top side of the gearbox, and there's a little screw here that holds it on. We want to take that off, and during the installation we want to put it in the bottom side of the gearbox. The reason being, when we install the switch, which we'll do now, we want to actually run the wiring below the trigger switch so that it doesn't interfere with any of the trigger motion. Now you can see there's a little cutout in the gearbox here, and that is going to be where we want the wiring to run. And then both wires are going to end up going right here in the motor location, and we'll have our jumper board located in there. That's about how we want the wiring, right like that. Now we can test, and if we put the two halves of the gearbox together, they should go together with no real effort. You may need to align the trigger lever there, and just check that they sit down together and that you're not pinching any wires. So that's good. So our wiring is done at this point. Let's take it back apart. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to need to make an air pathway. Now on the Tavor, what we're going to do is we're going to we're going to drill a hole right about here. And what that's going to allow us to do is to bring the air line out This is the bolt release. It'll allow us to bring the air line out just sort of on the back side of the bolt release right here. So we're aiming kind of right in this area is where we're gonna drill. So in order to do that, we're actually going to go ahead and take all the wiring back out. We're going to screw the two halves of the gearbox together, drill the hole with them screwed together, and then take it back apart and we can finish the installation. Alright, so we got everything installed here. We got our wiring hooked up. See, our jumper board is housed where the motor used to be. We've drilled a hole in the bolt release lever. I went with a 1/2-inch hole there just to make it fit a little looser, and 3/8-inch hole in the gearbox here. You can see we have the wiring hooked up and everything functions the way it should. So that's the installation for the Airsoft Tavor. At this point, you basically just reinstall it back in the gun the way you would with the AEG. Hope that was helpful, guys. Alright guys, a couple final notes. We got it all installed here. It's running great. You can see we got semi, select fire. So, shooting great. A couple final things to notice. You can see where the air line came out. That works. And you can see that the charging handle and bolt release both still work, which is nice. The charging handle gives you access to your hop up there. It locks back, releases. That's all good. Other than that, I mean, everything's Everything's very standard. It went together easily. I'll pop the FCU out here at the back so you can see where we have the FCU. Pull this guy out. There it is. Easy to access. At the back here, you can see where the jumper board is and all, and everything just fits in nicely. That slides right in there. I just kind of twist the wires around there to get them to fit in easily. Just be gentle with them. Close it back up. There she is. So, let me know if you have any questions in the comments section, and we'll do what we can to help. Just got the install finished up on the HYDRA for the Tavor. We have a pest problem. We have some hornets. Oh, look, there goes one. Hopefully I don't get stung here.